Hi, Dr. Sasse here from Sasse Surgical, and I'm just going to tackle a bit of a tough question that I've been asked a few times in recent months, and there was a recent study that really spoke to it. And the question is something along the lines of, can't I be healthy and obese? Isn't there such a thing as healthy obesity? I'll get to the study findings in just a second, but let me just start by saying that none of us wants to think of ourselves as being unhealthy, certainly, and it's certainly true that I see a good many people who are active and who feel good, and they may not really take any medications, and you couldn't really pinpoint any particular disease that's going on. But they're 75 pounds overweight or 100 pounds overweight. So there might be things that are affecting them. They don't like the way they feel. They might not like the way they look. There may be, subtler aspects that aren't quite health problems. And so there's also, quite a bit in the media and even in the medical literature about metabolically healthy obesity or just simply healthy obese. But I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because I think that while we might feel a sense of health or wellness or well-being today, when doctors talk about a person being healthy or not, we are really looking at more of a wider sort of arc over some time period. So if you're sitting down in your doctor's office and you're talking about various things going on day to day, in the back of the doctor's mind are things like, what is this person's risk of having a serious health event in the next year or 5 years? What's the chance this person might get a blood clot or develop pneumonia or develop type 2 diabetes? And certainly over the course of a little bit of time, we start thinking about what is this person's life expectancy and what are major health things that are going to emerge. And so looked at in that sort of light, anyone who is feeling healthy today but is carrying around 100 extra pounds has a much higher risk of so many adverse health events that it's really hard for us to accept this idea that it's healthy and obese, because obesity itself is a disease that's been very well kind of accepted after some sort of debate, because it meets all the features of disease, meaning that it impairs quality of life, it reduces life expectancy, and it leads to other secondary diseases. So the fact that it may not be doing that today is kind of like many other conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure, in the sense that it might very well be silent. A person might not feel any symptoms related to type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, but it doesn't mean those are healthy. They're negative health conditions which really lead to increased risks. So let me say a little bit about this study. So there was a study that came out quite recently that looked at a large database where all of the covered individuals under a large plan were examined with respect to their health as it relates to excess weight, and followed over the course of just a few years. So in the course of about a 3-year time frame, hundreds of thousands of people were examined. And unsurprisingly, those individuals who were regarded as potentially healthy and obese, who seemed to have no medical problems at all and rated their quality of life and health as good, were at massively higher risk in just that short period of time of a few years of developing very significant adverse health outcomes, some of which I kind of listed, like developing type 2 diabetes or having a really severe episode of wildly high blood sugar that landed them in the hospital, even orthopedic injuries, developing high blood pressure, and other kind of more serious things like getting pneumonia or having a blood clot, etc. So viewed with a little bit wider time frame, this study confirmed what a lot of people in metabolic surgery and in treating people struggling with obesity kind of already know, and we already struggle with in describing, which is that healthy and obese is not a great concept, in the sense that I worry that it will distract the people that we need to be putting their heart and effort into solving this epidemic and providing better treatments, better preventions, and overall better solutions to the problem. If we perpetuate this notion that, oh no, you know, healthy and obese is a real thing and that we don't have to worry about it as much. That's my concern. What we really need is a huge effort at every level, from individual scientists to clinicians to surgeons to medical providers to endocrinologists to policymakers and governments, to be putting a full court press on the worst epidemic problem of our age, the one that is causing the greatest reduction of life expectancy and quality of life compared to any other condition right now in the country or in the world. And we need to tackle this problem and find better solutions, and then ultimately better preventive strategies so that so many people are not battling excess weight. I think properly acknowledging that excess weight over a certain amount is just in and of itself unhealthy is a little bit more accurate and more helpful at getting us in the right direction toward better strategies to treat the problem on a bigger scale. That certainly does not lead us back to blaming individuals or any sort of shaming and blaming nonsense that has also gone on for a long time. It is simply that we do need to acknowledge that, hey, it might be okay now, but in the future the odds are high that it's going to lead to some just impairments in quality of life. It might just lead to aches and pains, or it might lead to some more serious troubles like falls or fractures that wouldn't have occurred, or other more serious health events. Even if you're young and otherwise healthy, it creates those extra risks. Some of you might, feel otherwise, and feel free to reach out and comment on that. I definitely understand multiple points of view on this, but I think trying to drop the healthy and obese or metabolically healthy language from, at least from medical and scientific publications and discourse, would be more in keeping with the data and would be more helpful toward all of us working harder to solve this problem on a better way. All right, well, I hope that's been insightful and shared that little debate with you and that science with you, and I wish you the best of health.